Did you know before 2015 that Nepal is seismically active area and earthquake can come frequently? If you live in the mountain areas of Nepal, then you can learn about measures to secure the safety of you and your family from this video.
Most of the Nepal is east-west, with high mountains on the north and plains in the south. Villages in the mountainous areas are located on the ridges and level surfaces on the slopes. In Nepal, flat areas are scarce, so it is developed on the mountain slopes in steps-like manner for houses and for farming. Along the major roads, one finds 2 to 3 story houses of stone and brick construction depending on what is mostly easily available. In the mountains, all houses are built with locally available stone with or without mud, having 18-inch wall thicknesses.
Most of the houses in the villages are two-storied and have attic with walls 3 to 5 feet high. Attic is used for the storage of agricultural produce. Because of the high attic, the house stays warm in winter. Timber is used for floor and roof understructure. Houses have 2 to 3 rooms on the ground as well as first floor and have covered veranda on front and the sides.
Traditionally, the roof is sloping with slate or stone coverings. Last several years, CGI sheet roofing is also getting popular. Nepali houses has a unique roofing feature. It consists of sloping chhajja at the gable base level which protects house from rain. By the roadside, due to easy access, flat RCC roof is also found. In the valley, where good soil is available, brick or adobe is seen in buildings.
Why did many of these houses got damaged in 2015 earthquake?
Materials used for walls, such as stone and mud, were not responsible for buildings getting damaged. But it was because of the way these walls were built, they could not resist the shock of earthquake. The thick stone walls did not have through stones to bind the inner face with the outer. So often, the inner or outer face of stone walls collapsed. Thick brick walls often did not have enough through bonding and lacked mortar in joints. So often, the inner or the outer face of brick wall also collapsed.
Parts of walls or full walls collapsed because walls could not resist earthquake forces. This happened because joints between the walls were not strong enough and all 4 walls were not built at the same time. This also happened because the walls were too long or too high. Many houses developed large crack in the corner. Large diagonal cracks developed at the door and window openings in the walls, which were caused by the tension in the walls due to the shaking by the earthquake. This was also because of extra large or too many openings.
As the gable walls are independently standing, its collapse was very common. The roof came down as the wall supporting it collapsed. When the timber supporting the roof was rotten, the roof fell down. Since the roof is not resting on gable walls, in many houses roof stood up even though gable walls collapsed. Even concrete roof also collapsed when walls supporting it collapses. Many RC houses also collapsed because of variety of reasons.
What type of houses people have been building in earthquake-prone areas for generations?
In smaller towns and villages, people build houses themselves with the help of masons. They construct with locally available materials, and they build considering the local weather and their lifestyle.
Where stone is available, the walls of the house are built with stone. In small villages, people build mud walls themselves. People use local material for roofing. In Uttarakhand, people use stone for roofing. In Gujarat, majority of houses have clay tile for roofing.
In Spiti area of Himachal, mud is laid on timber deck for roofing. In smaller towns, people build two-story houses with brick or concrete block walls and RCC roof. In big cities, houses are frame structure with column beam having brick walls and RCC roof.
Many of these buildings suffered damage in earthquakes similar to what the houses in Nepal suffered in 2015 earthquake, because the masons did not know how to make them earthquake resistant. In the aftermath of earthquakes, in all affected areas, people's responses were on the similar lines.
Stone was held responsible for death and much of destruction. Hence, in rehabilitation, it was discarded and houses were built using modern technologies, materials, and equipment. In some states, even prefab houses were introduced. Lots of cement and steel were used, thinking that they will bring safety. Wherever stone or concrete blocks were used, they were replaced with expensive bricks from faraway places. People started demanding RCC roof instead of stone or clay tile roofing.
Often, in 1 and 2-story houses, people started making concrete columns with many bars, but supported roof on walls instead of beams. This is technically wrong and brings vulnerability. Some people preferred the use of most expensive option of column beam frame construction. People blame their fate for all the death and destruction rather than finding technical answers for the building collapse. In less damaged villages, people abandoned or tore down their undamaged beautiful houses out of fear.
In Uttarakhand, people started tearing down their upper floor just because it had some damage rather than repairing it. People sold timber from their existing houses at a tenth of the market price since they saw no safety in their traditional houses. In many villages, new modern houses were built, which people liked for some time. Very soon, they found them inconvenient because they did not suit their lifestyle. Can a house become earthquake safe only if lots of cement and steel is used?
In 2011, a small earthquake in eastern Nepal caused a lot of damage to buildings in faraway Sikkim. Buildings with bricks and cement got badly cracked. Part of the reinforced concrete slab also collapsed in some buildings. Even buildings with reinforced concrete beams and columns also were severely damaged.
In Ahmedabad, a 10-story RC frame building collapsed like a palace of cards. This shows that concrete building can easily collapse due to absence of earthquake safety features, faulty construction, or ignorance of the building artisans.
Is it not possible to build earthquake resistant houses using local materials like stone, bricks, mud, and timber?
To build 1.5-story earthquake resistant house from local stone and earth with minimum outside material is possible, but all earthquake resisting features must be installed in construction. In all stone walls, one header must be used in every 8 square feet area to tie together the inside and outside faces of the wall. All walls must be built at the same time to ensure strong wall-to-wall connections. Stone or timber bands must be installed at different levels, including plinth, sill, lintel, and roof in all the walls to prevent cracks at corner.
The band at lintel level is most important since it prevents diagonal cracks in the corners of doors and windows. Install vertical reinforcing bar in all the wall-to-wall junctions and ensure that it's fully encased in concrete. It's also possible to use bricks for walls of 1.5-story buildings, following all the earthquake safety features, including bands at different levels and vertical reinforcement at corners. In the mountains, earthquake-resistant 2.5-story stone masonry houses can be built using containment reinforcement or CR system.
CR system involves the installation of vertical wires on both sides of all the walls and placing of weld wire mesh straps at many different levels. Earthquake resistant 2.5-story stone masonry house can also be built by building the upper story made of timber and tin sheets. Upper tin timber story must be well anchored to the bottom story. It is important that diagonal bracings are installed in the upper story tin walls. It is best to build the gable walls using timber alone or timber and tin sheets. All the connections in roof timber must be strong.
Building with local materials is affordable for people because there is very small expense in carting, and it's easy because local masons and carpenters can do it. To build with modern techniques and for its future maintenance, special masons and materials are required, which is not available in the villages.
All these talk is about reconstruction of the collapsed houses, but what about existing vulnerable houses with little or no damage? Can't the existing houses be made safer to live in?
For the safety of the family, it's too expensive to tear down all existing houses and rebuild them. These houses can be made safer by retrofitting. Retrofitting increases the earthquake resistance of an existing building. It is the most economical and fastest way to bring safety against future earthquakes.
What are the advantages of retrofitting? Saves the hassle of tearing down the existing house. Saves money of demolition and debris removal. One does not have to vacate the house. costs one-fifth or less of the cost of building new house. Saves all the improvement done in the house. It is faster and can be carried out in phases.
In India, many buildings have been retrofitted. A school building in Kashmir made of stone and mud was repaired and retrofitted as an example to bring security to its students. In Kashmir, a large government hospital was retrofitted while it was working in only 3 months. Dismantling and rebuilding would have easily taken 2 years.
A 120 years old school in Uttarakhand, made of stone and lime, was retrofitted in only 3 weeks. A 65 years old school made of bricks and lime with severely damaged roof slab in Dehradun city was repaired and retrofitted in only 1.5 months.
In California and USA, all existing vulnerable public buildings are to be retrofitted by law.
When it was discovered that a multi-story masonry building is inadequate to withstand the expected earthquake in the region, it was retrofitted. Many of these buildings were more than 60 years old. Special steel plates and anchors were installed for retrofitting.
But even modern steel and concrete buildings that were found to be inadequate were also retrofitted. Steel frames were attached to the existing building as a part of retrofitting.
Even very small buildings like restaurants were retrofitted to ensure safety of guests. Special steel brackets and plates were installed for retrofitting.
In Nepal, it's possible to retrofit all types of traditional masonry houses in small budget, and local masons can do it with appropriate training.
Up to 1.5 stories building can be retrofitted using splint and bandage system. In the stone walls, to prevent the inside and outside faces from separating and falling, stitching elements or headers are to be installed at various locations. This is done by making small holes through the walls and placing steel rods with concrete in them. To prevent cracking of walls, seismic belts are to be installed at different levels. Belts are made of weld wire mesh covered in cement plaster.
Belts are installed on both faces of the walls. Similar belt is installed on the triangular gable walls. It is advisable to remove the masonry gable walls and replace them with tin sheeting or timber frame. To strengthen the room corners, vertical seismic straps of weld wire mesh are installed. Door and window openings are to be encased with similar weld wire mesh. CR system with some modification can also be used to retrofit stone masonry houses up to 2.5 stories. The 4 mm wires are to be installed at approximately 450 mm spacing vertically and horizontally.
Wires are installed on both faces. To anchor the wires to walls, galvanized iron wire cross links are to be installed through the wall at desired spacing. These cross links also serve to stitch together the inside and outside faces of the walls. Belts made of weld wire mesh covered in cement plaster are to be installed at lintel and floor level.
The cost of retrofitting an existing building is 10 to 15% of the cost of building anew. So the best option is to retrofit it to remove the vulnerability instead of tearing it down.
Watching See It to Believe It Video will give you confidence that retrofitting brings safety.
Two houses of stone, mud and timber were built the way people do it in Latur area on a platform placed on wheels. The house on the left was retrofitted. Houses were shaken with tractor to artificially create earthquake. The house that was retrofitted remained standing while the other house collapsed because of shocks. In Gujarat, similar experiment was done where two houses of stone, mud and clay tile roofing were built. The one on left was retrofitted.
When houses were shaken with tractor, the house that was retrofitted remained standing, even with some damage while the other house collapsed. Two more houses were built with bricks. One on the right was built the way people do with cement mortar. One on the left was built in mud mortar with earthquake resisting features like RCC band. Upon shaking both houses, the house on the left, built in mud but with earthquake resisting technology, stood up while the other collapsed.
From these and many such experiments, it is found that while building a new house include earthquake resisting features, while in the existing house retrofit it to improve its earthquake resistance.
While building a new house, use earthquake safe technology that you can afford and which does not become a burden financially.
Also, retrofit your existing vulnerable house and sleep peacefully.
The safety of your house and your family is in your hands. Do not wait for others. Use this knowledge and move now towards safer life.